A production of Cary TV, the Town of Cary's government access channel.
Good afternoon and welcome to the last Town of Cary Planning and Development Committee meeting of 2013 and the last one ever. The town will be switching over to a new meeting format to not only get more input from our council colleagues, but also you, the citizens, as well. So beginning next year, we'll be having some more council meetings and some work sessions and handle planning and development committee business through that. So. I'm Don Frantz, chair of the meeting. Joining me as always to my left is Mayor Pro Tem Gale Adcock, and to my right, Council Member Ed Yerha, and to his right, Town Manager Ben Shiver. We have two items up for discussion. The first is a request for review comments from Wake County on a Swift Creek Land Management Plan variance, and we'll hear from Ms. Jan Patterson of our staff.
Good evening. Wake County has requested comments from Town of Cary regarding a variance request from the requirements of the Swift Creek Land Management Plan. The owners of 740 Lock Highlands Drive have submitted a plan to Wake County to build a garage addition, which would increase the impervious surface on their property above the 12% limit. In this area of the Swift Creek watershed, the Swift Creek Land Management Plan allows for up to 30% impervious cover, but requires stormwater control measures and connection to municipal sewer when greater than the 12% impervious. The owner is proposing to install a stormwater BMP on their property, but is asking for a variance from the requirements to connect to municipal sewer. As shown in attachment 1, I believe you have, there is a Town of Cary sewer line across Penny Road from the subject property. However, it would have to cross multiple private properties, NCDOT right-of-way, and it would exceed the 300-foot maximum to make that connection. The property is located in the Cary's USA Urban Service area. Staff is available at this time to take any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments?
I thought the staff report was very complete and clear. I really don't have any questions.
Same here. It's a reasonable request.
It's not the first one of these that we've seen. It's always a little frustrating to me that the property owner has to construct a BMP just to add a garage, but it is what it is, and it's kind of out of our control. So I do also thank you for a very thorough and detailed staff report. And seeing no further questions, we'll move this on to consent to the council meeting. Thank you. Next up is designation of a historic landmark and related town code amendments, and we'll hear from Ms. Anna Riedling.
Good evening.
Good evening.
With this request, staff is proposing a timeline and a process for the consideration of Hillcrest Cemetery as an historic Cary landmark, and also for consideration of related amendments to the town cemetery ordinance, which is Chapter 10 of the Town Code. Staff requests that council set a public hearing date of January 30th, 2014, to consider designation of Hillcrest Cemetery, which is the town cemetery, as a Cary Historic Landmark. The Wake County Historic Preservation Commission has recommended the cemetery for landmark designation, and the State Historic Preservation Office has concurred that it's a worthy candidate. The cemetery contains graves dating back to 1849 and is the final resting place of many of the town's leaders. If Town Council votes to hold a public hearing in January to consider landmarking Hillcrest Cemetery, and if after that public hearing in January, Council decides to approve Hillcrest as a landmark, then it will be necessary to amend the town's cemetery ordinance to reflect its new landmark status. While preparing draft amendments to the cemetery ordinance, staff saw the opportunity for a general update of the entire cemetery ordinance. So for efficiency's sake, with this staff report, staff proposes amendments and updates to the entire cemetery ordinance for council's consideration along with the landmarking itself. And staff is available for any questions you may have, either about the landmarking or about the cemetery ordinance.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Mr. Josh?
I think designating this as a historic landmark is an absolutely wonderful thing, a long time overdue. If you haven't spent any time in Hillcrest Cemetery, I don't recommend spending a lot of time in Hillcrest Cemetery, if you know what I mean.
You don't mean
Permanently, no.
Yeah.
But if you haven't spent any time at all over there looking around, it's just a wonderful, wonderful place. We had the opportunity with the Friends of Page Walker to do a program on this a few years ago, and I did a lot of research over there, and it's fascinating, and it's something right here in downtown. A lot of people don't even know it exists. It's a wonderful part of our downtown, wonderful part of our heritage. So I think we need to do it. I mean, no question. And as far as the code of ordinances, I love the euphemism. Instead of calling cemetery lots, we're calling them cemetery easements now. I think that's a great euphemism for a cemetery plot. But it makes sense. The only question I have, there's a section in there about the sale of cemetery plots. Are there plots for sale in the new section?
I believe there are, yes.
There still are?
Actually, I'll let someone who knows better than I talk to you.
Good evening, Council. Currently, there are no plots available for sale. However, there is a possibility of selling them because people who own plots may want to sell their plots.
I see. So
And
there's nothing new. It would be.
There's nothing new.
They would be resales if you.
There'll be
They decided they
resales.
didn't
There's
want to die.
currently nothing new.
Okay. Thank you for that. No, otherwise it's fine. Thank you. Those are the only questions I had.
Okay, Ms. Adcock?
No questions. I thought it's a terrific idea, and I look forward to hear what the citizens have to say at the public hearing.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for all your work,
Thank
and
you.
we'll send this forward on consent.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no further business before us, the committee stands adjourned.
You're just trying to...
This has been a production of Cary TV. Visit the Town of Cary's website at townofcary.org.